Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. Who should be held accountable for all the problems that Atlanta United are having as a club? We get into all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5 Star fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael. And unfortunately, Atlanta United fell again at home for the third straight game, 3-2, and we will get into that match preview. But first, much love to all of you Patreon members. You guys are definitely, just absolutely the most loyal and legends, and we cannot do it without you guys. So definitely, if you want to join in on the the Patreon fun and love, there's a bunch of stuff in the description below. We have some very exciting things coming up for you, in spite of the non-exciting things that are happening with the club. But yeah, shouts out to Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew Wicki, and Chris James. So Atlanta United 3-2 loss at the Benz, and against DC United, who coming into the match, they were in 9th, we were in 10th. At home, this should be a W. This should be 3 points. It is not that lately, obviously, and this frankly was embarrassing. So much so that, I think the people that were a little bit on the fence on Gonzalo Pineda, if it was Pineda out, I think they have shifted over to that, at least some of them anyway. And the Boo Birds definitely came out, reigned at full-time whistle, and yeah, I don't blame them. I wasn't one of those people, but I do not blame them. And also, at halftime, the supporter section was mostly sat for the start of kickoff. Still haven't gotten word if that was intentional or not, but I mean, yeah, it woke up a little bit right after that, but it was, I don't know, if there's a demonstration that needs to be done, I mean, it is part of it where that's where we need to show the club that we're not messing around anymore, and the fans expect more from the club. And the past 6 weeks pretty much has been a bit of an abomination. But into this match, we're gonna review it, and it's a good bit of stuff that are basics and is pretty egregious. But Michael, I know we went through 2.5 hours of therapy together on the live post-match fan reactions. But as far as kind of some more thoughts on this match, what do you got?
Yeah, this was a backbreaker for me. This was a tough one. I mean, of all of the ones so far, this one really hurt the most so far this season. Hopefully it doesn't get worse, but I mean, if this doesn't change minds, I don't know what will. I don't see any real way forward from this in terms of we can still meet our KPIs, our getting top 4 in the East, or making it run in the playoffs, having home field advantage, winning a cup. If it's not this, maybe in the Open Cup or League Cup. I just don't see any of that coming to fruition with what we have currently going on. A lot of people are saying change has to happen. To me, I don't really care so much about what the change is, but I agree that it should happen. Something should happen. I'm not convinced that any particular change will solve anything or be a panacea. I think that we'll just have to have some negative results for a little bit until we can either dig ourselves out of this rut mentally, or the changes that we do make, it is given enough time to ameliorate some of the issues that we have. And so I think we're just gonna, we hate to hear this, but for a different reason now, I think we're gonna have to yet again have patience until we can get back to a position of being able to look with more optimism as to the next game. And it's especially in terms of what our schedule looks like going forward for at least the next 3 or 4 weeks. We're going to have a really tough schedule. So I don't think we're going to see a rebound anytime soon, even if we do solve some of the issues that we're seeing in a lot of these games that just keep happening over and over and over again. So yeah, that's the overview.
Yeah. And it's definitely it's a tough one in so many ways because of the basics that are not being done, the fundamentals that seem to be very absent from the club at the moment, from top down, really. But as far as this match, that's where it goes. Is okay, yeah, we start off decently, because we win the penalty as far as Mosquera finding space in the box to pull it back for Yakumakis, who's kicked it down, and we get the penalty. It looks like, okay, this is a good start. And Thiago Almada, after the VAR, checks it for for a handball, and but beyond that, it's like, okay, well, Thiago Almada, he steps up, he takes it, and he slots it away, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and it looks like, okay, maybe it's party time. Maybe we can, once we're up, generally anyway, the record is pretty good, but especially at home. But yeah, that's not how we're playing lately. We are giving up everything. We're losing from every type of winning position or conceding early, and it's essentially at this point. I mean, I'd be actually remiss to find a new way to lose, because I think we've hit them all. We've hit the all the points of how you can lose from any position in a match. But I mean, I think some things to break down for sure in this match. I mean, the first goal is almost too easy in a lot of respects, because the fact that I mean, I was in the stadium watching Christian Benteke just ghost into space, and Noah Cobb, while he is playing him ball side and has him pretty much, I think, for the most part, he knows where he is until the last second when he's in the 6-yard box. And Benteke just glides right by him, and it's like he wasn't even there. But I think one of the major points in this is in the build up to it. I mean, it's the winger, he's traveling a long way, and basically you have several players that aren't marking anybody. And one player maybe should be enough, but I mean, that should be the game plan going into the match, is that, okay, Christian Benteke, who's, yes, all credit to him, is one of the toughest, if not the toughest guy to defend in MLS right now, in the air. I mean, he's won 134 aerials already. And the second person has 54. So yes, he is a meal to deal with. But the fact is that you only have one person marking him. That's egregious. And in the build-up to the play, Luis Abram not marking anybody. And knowing that, I mean, he has the play in front of him pretty much, and he sees that there's nobody there. Okay, well then, you kind of do have to, trouble, Christian Benteke at that point. I mean, or maybe it's Brooks Lennon, but either way, another midfielder. Yeah, you basically have 3 players, when the cross happens, aren't marking anybody. And yes, one needs to stop the pullback. But other than that, I mean, for him to... It was always going to be this. Like, Benteke is a seasoned veteran that knows how to ghost into space. He's going to drift from nowhere into the box to find that space. And for us to give up a header in the 6-yard box with only one player marking Christian Benteke on a counterattack, I can't. Like, that's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And then, yeah, we let in 2 more just like it, in terms of various other headers that are won by Benteke, and a headed hat trick. If that's not the definition of not learning your lesson, I mean, what else is it? But yeah, I think we were going over the match a little bit before watching some video, and the second goal from Benteke. Talk us through what you saw.
Yeah, it typifies 2 things for me that are extremely frustrating about Atlanta United. Because what it showed was what we should be doing when we're in the attacking third, getting close to the box, when we're approaching, especially on the wing. DC did this flawlessly. Commentators were ablush with compliments when watching it happen. They developed a nice triangle. We're able to pass it around this triangle and completely encompass and entrapped Brooks landed, or who was it in there? Caleb Wiley and Schlieff, I think. And so you get that triangle, both players basically stuck in the middle, give and go right through. Both players knew nothing about it. They couldn't stop it. Very easy for DC to just break right into our, and close to our box and get an easy cross in to Benteke. Way, way, way too easy. And they did it multiple times. And like I said, it's a multifaceted thing in that second part. Why can't we do this? I rarely ever see, when we rush down on the right side or left side or what have you, triangle interplay to just completely break open the defense. It's just like when we try and at least get open and to dynamically move around in order to, be a recipient for a pass, it's too slow. They are still marked. If they do receive the ball, they're standing still, almost always. And then they have to either pass backwards or what have you. Or if it's like Thiago or someone who thinks that they can dribble their whole defense, they'll try and do that and lose the ball. It's very, very, disillusioning and very disheartening to see another team basically just go in and do exactly what you're supposed to do in a way that we just fail to do almost every time. It just looks like, oh, that's just so simple and basic. Why don't we do that? It's so weird. And then you see us try and get in that same position, and we either back pass or what have you. It's extremely, extremely frustrating to see, not necessarily great players. Like, these aren't like world beater wingers and midfielders from DC that are just, playing us off the pitch over there. It's just simple triangle. And we're just like, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to handle that. And then it's just like, well, that's it. I guess they get a free corner or a free cross in. Like, it's that kind of stuff blows my mind. Needs to be worked on. If that kind of stuff is still breaking you down this badly, your defense needs some work.
Yeah, and I think it's the case of the sum is greater than the parts, and basically they're playing as a team, and it's also okay on the second goal.
And they move dynamically. Exactly. They move. They're constantly the triangle doesn't stay static. It moves. It turns and it moves, it turns and it moves. That's just what you're supposed to do in order to gain space. But our triangles just kind of stay stagnant. Or one person breaks triangle, moves off, and the other just stay the same. Teamwork.
It gets drawn too wide, and basically, it's difficult to play through a defense that way. And basically, they hit us on the counter, incredibly well. They were very lethal. Pretty much, there was a shot that Guzan had to save with his, with a kick save, and basically. It was from a very quick counter, very well executed, it lacked everything but the finish. But as far as the second goal, it was a bit of a a little bit of luck in the sense that Noah Cobb, he does cut out that first cross, but we basically have two players in the same spot, not marking the other player, trying to probably get the ball that was cut out, but essentially it came right back where it came from, and a left-footed cross was able to find Benteke. And this is the crux of it, though. Yeah, we're not winning our duels. We're not winning the second balls. We're not earning the right to play. And that's the biggest issue so far right now, is that we're not recognizing danger. We're not doing the basics in order to play on the ball. And yeah, I mean, so many of these goals, it just shows that, we essentially think that, okay, we can coast. We can just coast at home. Like, we don't have to, we get scored on a little bit. Oh, no big deal. Like, no, it should be where we're focusing on keeping the clean sheet first. That's first and foremost. No goals at home. Don't allow anything at home. And then, okay, great. Because then you score one. That's all you need. That's all you need at home. And then, okay, build on that. Build on that foundation. But
especially since we're struggling to score.
Exactly. So, it's really not a returning to any basics at the moment. It feels like, and the chatter from, the head coach and anyone at the club seems very blasé and laissez-faire. Because apparently, Thiago Almada, he said, well, on the three losses at home, like, sometimes this happens in soccer. What?
That's the worst That's the worst thing you could say to anything that happens. Like, because it means nothing. It literally means nothing. So you gain zero information from that statement.
Yeah. For anything, I think that shows of a lack of awareness and immaturity. And I think at this point,
or he knows if he says something else, or he says the truth, it'll hurt, it'll be bad, and the public relations people don't want that to happen, obviously. I mean, I don't want him really to say something honest. I don't think that really does anything any good either. So he goes with this. He goes with this big nothing burger, and it's just, at this point, it's like, just don't even post anything then. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, no, I don't subscribe to that. I'm sorry, man. It's but basically it's the players need to have accountability, to own up to what's happening, and know that the fans, they need the players, the coach, to actually hold themselves responsible. And if it's something that, okay, it's like, a one-off. Okay. Yeah, but this is 6 weeks of not winning right now already. Like, no. I don't accept it. That's not something that the club can put into my face, and I will be like, oh yeah, more of that, please. No. Like, frankly, it's on everybody, but it's also on the journalists to ask and press. And okay, yeah, if the communications team, from Atl Utd, they're like, we don't like the way you're asking that question. Too fucking bad. It's essentially, at this point, like, you have journalists that are essentially, like, oh yeah, I'm not a shill, but you guys aren't asking these questions of the team, and you're just accepting their nothing answers. It's not good enough. It's not good enough from that end. And at this point, it makes it where, it makes it seem that, okay, the club is just, we can do whatever we want. The fans will just accept it. And I think it's a part in this. This is one part of the Golden Spike thing is a microcosm of kind of the corporate, uniqueness of all of this, in that because we have a sponsorship with something for the Golden Spike, we have to have and choose somebody. And the very nature of having to choose somebody to hit the Golden Spike at the end of matches when we don't win, and you have players that go up there with some embarrassment, no doubt. I mean, as far as participation trophies go, that is it. And that pretty much it, like, everybody in the stadium, it's like, come on, like, why are we choosing a Golden Spike winner when this happens? And the very reason is because there's sponsorships that need to be filled. Okay? But so with the fans, like, they recognize the ridiculousness of this. And if they don't, well, they're not paying attention hard enough probably, but that's okay. But it is at the responsibility of the club to act like a club that has standards. To act like a club that actually cares about winning, not just lip service. So, okay, we can pretend like everything's all gravy. 6 weeks without winning, going into a really tough month, and if we don't win, oh, it's just soccer. This happens. Not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. And if we're not holding the team accountable for this, I mean, we might as well just like, okay, yeah, well, we're not even here for competition. It's not even competition at this point. We're just here for, a stroll to the stadium, and if we win, whatever. If we don't win, oh, no big deal. There's the next game. No matter. Like, is that competition? That's what this is, right? Like, what else is it? Like, every ethos and everything that comes out of the mouth of higher ups and players that come in, they're like, oh yeah, I'm here to win, and I want to win as many trophies as possible here. But a lot of the actions do not show that, and it adds to, I think, an air of complacency that the club is showing and the players are buying into. Because it's essentially, oh, we didn't win tonight. Oh, no big deal. That's just soccer. If your star player is saying that, it's not good enough. And I don't care how good he is.
That's a good point. The star player shouldn't just be saying, it's soccer, you win some, you lose some. Like, that to me tells you this player has his eyes set somewhere else, trying to do something else. Because he's like, this team will be middling, and I'll leave it and go on to a better team soon. That's what that translates to me.
Exactly. And so it's like, he doesn't care about Atlanta. I mean, I don't read his mind, but that's what that screams out. And so, okay, yeah.
And he may care, but he also has to understand, part to your perhaps immaturity. Like, I don't like to say him that, but I say rather more inexperienced, because immaturity sounds more of a pejorative, and I'm not intending it that way, but it's more so, that he kind of needs to know that that's what you're communicating, and it might be a language thing or whatever, but the idea, at the end of the day, this is what's coming out from the club and from his words, and all I'm here is to say is that it reads poorly to me.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good of a player you are. If you're not playing for the badge, if you're not playing for the city, you can go. So, just straight up like that. I mean, if you're not playing for the badge right now, any of these players, you are free to go. And we don't want you here. So, if you're not playing for the club, bye-bye. I want you gone. Next transfer window. See you later. But
or change your attitude, change the way you talk about these types of things. Like, I want you to be good for this club, and you are good. It's just, and it's not just Thiago. It's, he's the one who came out with the most recent saying. But I mean, we need to see, like, it's in these dark times, you kind of want to have a voice like how, Glassy had when he was here, where he's like, this is like a bit of the Dutch uncle, right? Telling us as it is. Like, this is just not good enough. Someone to get out and people have different perspectives about whether or not this is effective leadership or effective way of communicating things. Is it throwing players under the bus? Is generating a air of toxicity and airing things out in public like a good thing for the players, for the club, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but we also have to think of the fans. The fans would also kind of like to hear honesty. And when Glass came out and said those things in, like, what was it, the 2020 season or whatever it was, where we were just doing absolutely terrible. And he's just like, it's not good enough in his Scottish accent. It was nice to hear, a little bit of that. Like Jeffrey Lorenowitz coming out and saying, this is just not good enough. We are not doing. They sounded mad. They sounded frustrated. That's kind of what I want to hear from Thiago. Not, it's soccer, it happens. I want to hear, like, hitting the table going, damn it, we need to figure this out. We're going to figure this out. Like, or some kind of urgency. And that's what I'd like to see, because it gets you fired up too. It gets like, wow, like, okay, it looks like they really are starting to take this seriously. Like, the most vocal players, the best players are putting their stamp on this and saying, I don't want Yorgos to say, like, next game is a must win and we're definitely going to, but, like, I want him to be a little bit more serious, like everyone a little bit more serious. And I'm just afraid that the culture of the club is more, as you kind of hinted, there's more corporatization of it. And that everything is kind of bubble wrapped and tailored and curated in such a way where definitely don't want to shake any tree limbs or rustle any feathers. So, but sometimes I feel like that's necessary, and that might be one of these times.
Right, and fair play to Dax McCarty, who actually was speaking with media, and he was pointing out that like, we do need to do better. We need to be better. He definitely seemed a little bit, at the very least, a little bit perturbed, and that's that experience coming in. That's that him being a former captain, at previous clubs, and an MLS veteran for sure. That has been on good and bad teams, and he's one of the players that he said he came here to win everything. He saw how good of a transfer window we had last season. And he wanted to join this. But, I mean, yeah. One start of a season away from that transfer window. And it's just, we look completely like a different team. We look like a team that is lost. We look like a team that is rudderless, doesn't know what direction or identity that they actually have. And, we used to be that team that at least, okay, we could take care of business at home. We don't have that anymore. So, yeah, we have going onto the road. What are we going to do? Like, that's, well, there's
and everyone's underplaying. Like, everyone has dropped in their performance. Like, guys who are supposed to be stalwarts of consistency, like Tristan or Schleich, or even Gigi, where you can count on things.
Brooks Lennon. He was called Mr. Consistency.
And it's no one is doing really anything to the level, at least where, we've started the season or the end of last season, or where we know they can be. And it's just, I don't know why that's the case, and it needs to be figured out.
That's telltale. Like, if no one on the team is really performing, who is that on? It's pretty obvious. Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious, guys. So, as far as we can look at stats, but it's basically this. Okay, sure. Like DC United and Atlanta shots pretty much negligible. 14-15 us, them. Shots on target, us only 3, them 6. They were far more clinical. They were far more dangerous.
They shouldn't be getting more shots on us at our home.
Yeah.
Like,
no. As far as XG, there's 2.3, us 1.5. Possession, 60% pretty much. them 40%. They were just far more lethal. They were more clinical. They hit us on the counter. They hit us on set pieces. They were the quintessential pragmatic team that knew what they're bad at and know what they're good at. And they played to their strengths, especially on the road. You know, like we know we're not great defensively. Okay. You know, at least on the road anyway. And what do we need to do to play on the road? To get results, to get wins. Play to win, not play to, okay, you know, possibly impose ourselves on the road and, okay, you know, inflate our ego that, okay, yeah, well, you know, we played the better game, but we just didn't win. Like, right now, we need to focus on the results. We need to figure out how to win, first and foremost, if we're keeping Gonzalo Pineda in the job, which it's Monday. He's not out of the job yet, so you know, seems like we're probably going to keep him for Wednesday's match. So you know, we will see. We will see. But yeah, final thoughts on this review?
Yeah. Basically, I think we said most of it. The mentality aspect, the fragility. I thought we brought in players to remedy this. I really didn't want this team to be mentally fragile again. I don't know, like, why this keeps happening. Like, you know, you get a couple of bad games and it turns into a lot. It turns into a half a season. Like, it's just, I don't know, like, I can't just go to the front office and say, hey, pick players who aren't going to collapse under one or two bad games, or, like, you know, can't lift each other up as a team together. No, instead they just all, I mean, I guess we lost this one. So, like, you know, unless, you know, Thiago makes a wonder goal, or, you know, somehow Saba or Gigi just fix everything. But the rest of us, we're just kind of being dragged along for the rest of this game. There's no will, there's no intensity. I mean, yeah, everyone keeps saying, and you can see it, you know, they had will to fight in the game. But I mean, just running as fast as you can and burning all of your energy because you're intense while being in a triangle getting outpassed by DC. Like, I mean, great, you had a lot of intensity for that, but it's just not the right time, place, scenario to use that intensity. It's just, Atlanta United is trying. Obviously, I'm not saying they're not trying. They definitely are. It's just so unfortunate to see them try so hard, and it's just so misplaced. The energy is so in the wrong area at the wrong time. We talked about this the other time with, like, you know, Nick Firmino making runs and just no one passing it to him. He's at least trying to do something. You know, you see this with sometimes, but that's another misplaced, you know, not making the right passes, underweighting, overweighting, not picking the right guys out, not moving off of the ball, or when moving off of the ball, it's, you know, no one's seeing that runner, or, you know, it's just, I don't know how to fix that. It's just, it's chemistry is the definition, and we just have literally none of it. I like how it's like I said on the stream, like, it's like you assembled a FIFA EAFC team where all of their chemistry metrics are at 0. And yeah, all their, like, talent indexes are really high. They're all really amazing players, but they're all 0. They can't play with each other whatsoever. That's just what it seems like. And it's so damn frustrating.
Yeah, and, you know, at that point, that's on coaching. And, you know, frankly, it's also the bit of it where I don't know if we actually have that deep of a team that we actually think. I mean, they're definitely not showing it. The talent on a night-to-night basis seems a little missing as well. So, you know, we're definitely lacking confidence. That's for sure. That's an obvious. But heads are dropping. We're capitulating. You know, essentially, when things go wrong, we don't know how to actually dig ourselves out of it. And you need a leader. You need leaders. How many leaders do we have on this team? Not that many. I mean, in the 11, maybe Gigi. Okay, you have Guzan. The rest of the people, it's questionable. It's pretty questionable. So,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's grim. It makes it for grim type of like, I'm not trying to call out the character of people in the sense of like personally, but just on the pitch, that's what it is. It doesn't seem like there's players that know how to get out of these situations and win. And so, on top of that, who is the person that kind of sets that example? It's the head coach. It's the coaching staff, and I think we're an emulation of the meekness of Gonzalo Pineda as a head coach. And that's just what it is. But
I feel like Atlanta United is such a cushy job. Like I don't know. This is probably weird to say, but I just feel like players come here and they're just like, it is what it is. Sometimes, it's like I'll get a lot of money here. I'll get a lot of eyes on me. I might go somewhere nice after this. It's within the MLS ecosystem, so I can easily bounce around from other teams. It's winning is not essential. It's whatever. Like it's just kind of what it feels like. And it's. I just want to see more fire. I want to see more like I want to bleed for this team. Like because you don't see it on the pitch. You don't really hear it in press conferences or when the players talk about it. Yeah, when they come here, like you said earlier, they're like, yeah, I want to win trophies. Everyone says that. Everyone wants that. No one's going to realistically be like, yeah, they signed me and I'm not very good and I'm not going to do great. I'm not going to win for this. Like, no one's going to say that, so it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, who's not going to come in optimistic? Of course.
So I just wish there was more, like, someone would take some stakes to be like, I am going to turn this around. I put this on my back. I will turn this team around. Like, I want to hear something like that. Even if they can't do it, it's like, well, this guy, put his flag down and said, this will be my goal to turn the team around. Like, that would be epic. Like, even if he dies on his shield, like, good for you, though,
Exactly.
But no, we don't hear that. We hear this is soccer. It happens sometimes. So
right. Yeah. And let's be real. Like, we had that. We ousted those players. We had Jose Martinez. We had LGP. We had, other players that basically showed that fire and that accountability, and they were shown the door. So, yes, while Jose Martinez, that's a different case because of performance. And LGP, that's that bit where he's still performing for pretty much every club that he's playing for. Yes, yellow card machine, but he's the type of player that we need to win things. He was a clear winner. Yeah, you have your blemishes. Every player does, but proven winner. Those are the types of players that I want at Atl United.
Yeah.
But
like I said, just the last thing I'll say on this is we want killers here at this club. We don't want people who have like not won or they don't have a taste for winning. They don't have the competitive spirit. Someone who's unproven, untried, untested. We want proven killers here. Someone who can get the job done. They want to come to this club because they want to win, and they like more so than they want to win. They know they can win. Like, that's what I want to see. Not like, all right, we'll take a chance on this guy. Who knows? But I get it. It's MLS. You're hamstringed. You're strapped. You can't, go out and just get all these amazing players that have this kind of whatever. But it's just, I think that there are just some players that we get sometimes where it's just clearly not the case. And if it's that clear to us, and maybe hindsight's 2020, of course, whatever, but we just need to do a better job at finding people who really, really are tenacious and have some bite to them. Because I just haven't seen it. It's so long.
Yeah, I mean, I think the proven winner bit. I get it.
I'm talking about Gonzalo Pineda basically exclusively with that.
And as far as like head coaches, maybe in that regard, I think it's because players obviously not every player is going to be a proven winner, but you want to see competitiveness. You want to see that they want to be the best. So maybe they haven't gotten to the the summit yet, but they look like a player that wants to be there, and is going to do anything they can to be there. And yeah, we're missing a lot of that.
Because right now we're the easy 3 points team. I don't want to be that anymore. This is ridiculous. We're not a training wheels academy organization. You know, this like we're not baby food. This is ridiculous. Let's get it together. Like, come on.
Because pretty much, anytime we go on the road, it's 3 points or at least a point for the opposition, and that's
we're baby food. It's ridiculous. So
anyway, we'll wrap up for this match review and gets us into the news. Very light on news this week. Basically, is that we are 10th in the Eastern Conference, right outside of a playoff spot right now. Still a positive goal difference somehow because of the goal lines or score lines that have flattered us 2-3 months ago, essentially. But essentially, it's not looking for good reading right now. We are essentially 15 points off of Inter Miami in first place right now. And that's only from 11 games played. Yeah, they've played 13, but it is, not pretty. And we're about to play a bunch more this month that will, I don't know if they will progress us into higher points in the standings, but we're hopeful, but the realistic side is definitely louder right now. Next bit of news and last bit of news is that Atl Utd, they fell to the Carolina court on Wednesday at Fifth Third, and Noble Okello claimed his first goal of the season, and Eric Centennial added his third assist of the campaign. But let's get into the match preview. It's on Wednesday against FC Cincy, and it's in Ohio. It's not exactly been great for us against either team, but FC Cincy have won their last 4. They just beat the MLS Cup champs 2-1 at their house. And we of course lost 1-2 against them April 20th at the Benz. And our last 6 against them, we've only won 1 while drawing 3, and they've won 2. So drop points in nearly pretty much all of the matches except for 1. So also makes for grim reading, unfortunately. But we saw kind of what they were about. Very stout team defensively, 3-man at the back. They of course in the offseason lost Brandon Vasquez, a host of other players, but they might not be a team that is scoring in bunches, but they are a team that's still doing quite well in spite of that. And second in the Eastern Conference, 24 points. So a team that they're focusing on the right things. They're focusing on trying to win each match, whether it's defensively or just eking out the result. And they of course added Miles Robinson from us last season, host of other players as well, including Corey Baird, Pavel Bucha, Lucho Oriano, and their 5-2-3 essentially is a force to be reckoned with. The pundits around the league have them in the right spot where they are currently sitting, pretty much. As low as 4th, as high as 1st. They're definitely a top of the table type of team, and they're doing everything that they can in that regard. They're very strong aerially. They're as far as free kicks, dead ball situations. Anytime you have Lucho Acosta, he's gonna be dangerous, and he always finds a way to score against us. So if you guys can see Michael's face right now, it's just it's he's just
just thinking to myself. I'm just thinking to myself what happened in the universe some like event happened where we split into an alternative universe.
Yeah, the sliding
where
doors effect.
where like FC since like you go back years ago and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, in like several years from now, yeah, FC Cincinnati will consistently be a top team and competing for the cup every year, and will win trophies and will dominate CONCACAF, and like, and Atlanta on the other hand will actually be terrible. It's just what?
Yeah.
How? And like that, there's no way you would believe this. And then, the team that's a perennial wooden spoon candidate, and that team. And it's just it's like where was that deciding point, like in Jurassic Park? It's like the chaos theory, like which way does the water droplet fall on the knuckle, right? It's like it went the wrong way, that's for sure in this example.
Right. And I guess if we go with that example, I mean, it reads for less grim reading in the sense that you can be a perennial wooden spoon winner, and get your self out of it. But that's the thing, like we don't really want to see how far this rabbit hole goes, because it can go deeper. And
I think we've been like not good longer than Cincinnati was not good now, I think.
Yeah, they're a lot younger in the league than we are, but I mean, they essentially have been good for about 2 to 3 years, probably 2+, because this year has just started.
Yeah, and they were like god awful for 2 years, I think.
Yeah, 2-3 years, maybe 4, I think, maybe. But either way, it's a team that is firing on a lot of cylinders. Maybe not quite fully in the every bit of the attacking sense, but they find ways to score. And Pat Noonan has them set up in a really, really good way to nullify pretty much most teams, especially even if you can pretty much take care of business on the road against Columbus Crew. Yeah, it's supposed to be really hard to win on the road in MLS, right? Well, yeah. Not the case for FC Cincy. But, getting into the questionable or unavailable players for Atl United. Stian Gregerson, probably still a little bit questionable. Jamal Tiare, he has been training. Both have been training, but probably a little bit questionable. And then Derek Williams as well. Wolf out 4 to 5 weeks with that MCL. It's probably not going to be a very changed 11. We don't really have many options, and I mean, it's at this point, I think it's a pretty easy 11 to choose, unfortunately. We'll go through. It's Guzan between the sticks, Lennon and Wiley, fullback. At center back, do you have anybody different? Calvin Abram?
No, I think it's going to have to be. I wouldn't hate if Efren came in, because I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah.
I think since he's going to just probably put us through the paces regardless, but, Noah and Abram.
Yep. In midfield, that might be the most interesting, is, if you bring in Dax McCarty or Johnny Fortune.
I think Muyamba had fallen out of favor last game with Pineda. Like, he had a rough game, and he came out. So it's possible we might see a change. It's just, I mean, who knows how far McCarty can go in terms of his fitness. So we'll see. Maybe if he start, I don't know if it makes sense for that. But it'll be interesting to see what they choose.
Yeah, because we'll definitely lose some athleticism, but we definitely gain the experience and the know-how to make sure that we set up properly and nullify. Pretty much Schleich should be in Lucho Acosta's pretty much just right on top of him. And hopefully that will, kind of help nullify any of the strengths that Acosta always shows against us. But
if we can stop him from scoring on us, I don't even care if we lose. If other people score a lot. If we stop him, that's a W in my book.
Yeah. Step number 1 is can you keep the guy who's pretty much perennially just been the Grim Reaper for us in matches?
Yeah. Because here's the thing, right? So the goal of this game, their defensive tactics will be to stop Lucho, right? Which is very hard to do. However, if they accomplish that, then I'm like, okay, they did what they set out to do, and that will make me happy. Even if we end up getting like beat like badly in another way, at least there's that, and that would be a silver lining in this game.
Yeah, that would actually be progression. Yeah, but
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think it's probably going to be Muyumba and Schlich in midfield. I don't know if we can afford to play McCarty for possibly a full 90, because it might have to be. So into the wings, I think it's obviously Saba. I can't foresee Mosquera getting.
He had another terrible game as well. I mean, it's just been a horror show, man, with these teams and some of these players. So like, it's tough. I mean,
Silva's not 90 minutes fit, but as far
but then have Mosquera come on later, please have him come on later, because that's the only thing he's shown he's been capable of doing, affecting the game in any way, is when he comes on as a super sub.
Right, and basically using his legs and energy to wear down teams, but maybe not necessarily from a technical standpoint. So I have Silva coming on, and or starting, and then probably coming off later. Almada, of course, GG up top. I mean, that part picks itself, but hopefully these boys can, find some magic, find some connectivity, because, our two-star players, Almada and Yorgos Giacomakis, do not look like they know each other.
Yeah, it's difficult too, because the team, because of the congestion, is not going to have a lot of time to train, to like iron some things out, and so they kind of just have to keep going with what they've been doing. So we'll see. It's not going well.
No. So speaking of that, here we go. Score prediction. What do you got?
I say 3-1 Cincinnati. I can't imagine we use this game to come back and rewrite, reset, and then to do something really impressive. Absent, if I heard like a fiery speech from one of the players, or some kind of, alarm bell of some sort, I would say maybe they could approach this game differently. But I think from what I've seen, everything seems to it'll be the same. So
yeah,
why would I expect anything different?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit better than that somehow. Just because of proxy of how bad, how hard it has been for FC Cincy to score a bunch of goals. So I think it's 1-2, 2-1 loss, unfortunately. But yeah, heart and mind obviously say different things. We all want Atl Utd to win this match, but I mean, it's just where, how, like from a logical standpoint. It's just really hard to see. So, but yeah, guys, that is the match preview and pretty much the entire episode, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, how many points do you expect from the next month? Let us know in the comments below. It might be kind of easy in a sense to actually say how many points. I mean, there's going to be a lot of games. Are there going to be more than 3? I don't know. But you guys let us know. Looking forward to what you have to say, guys. But yeah, guys, that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll be here for you in all of the therapy and all that. Right after the match for the FC Cincy match, we will be live streaming. So hop on to this channel and we will see what the reactions are. So, but guys, that's Michael. I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.